Good morning, family. Rob T signing in here. Wet weather here in Joburg. Gloomy, few accidents on the road. Funny how it is that we have accidents, so many accidents when it's raining. I'm thinking about the Dial Direct ad. It's just water, people. It's just water. I think we just need to just be more cautious of how we drive and just pay attention to the road. Let me tune you in and remove you from seeing this wet weather to seeing my face, and we can just do a quick session on a Throwback Thursday. I'm doing this on a Tuesday. Hello, it's me. So quick one. I'm doing a reflection on a throwback Thursday, but throwback in my space 2 years ago on this particular day. I was on site. I probably arrived on site at about 7:30, and we were trying to conclude one of our properties. Clients were sitting basically on our heads, if I may, wanting to occupy their properties, and at this time we were basically pushing hard to get these properties ready, but more so two of our clients were really ready to move in. They had some changes in their work, some changes in their living arrangement, so they were ready to move in. Both first-time home buyers, both having going through this process of purchasing a property for the first time. And what was interesting with these two individuals was that both of them mid-30s. No, the one mid-30s, the one late 30s. But being African or people of color, it was their first home purchase. And I'm thinking about the home purchase process and the whole thing. I got my first property when I was 19. So if I look at the difference between somebody who's buying their first property, being 35 years old, or buying their first property being 39 years old, and I'm thinking, why are we then renting for so long before we acquire our first property? Is it because we don't know the power of one owning their property, or basically it's just the history of renting is what we know and this is what we are taught, or basically due to a lack of knowledge, whatever the reason is. So here's us on site trying to prepare these two properties. What comes to mind is basically the struggle to access finances when you are doing a project that is in the scale of about 10 million plus. So if you're looking at doing a development, or you are building a property, a single property, finances are easy or relatively easier to manage rather than trying to build 8 to 12 properties all at once. You can spread yourself financially thin and not even be able to pull off the project. But in this case, I was in a situation where I needed to actually turn some assets into liquid. So what I had done at this point in time was trying to sell some of the shares in my business in order to continue the project. So I started the project with an intention and with the plan in mind of just running this thing and winging it financially, because I didn't start off with the capital outlay that was required to complete the project, but I went in basically with the naive concept that I'll take it one step at a time. I have a friend of mine who runs an electrical auto company. It's Motorlek in Alberton, Clint. Lovely guy. He uses the expression that you must eat the elephant a teaspoon at a time, and if you do visit, just say that to him. He'll probably burst into laughter. So this was the same analogy I used. This was a huge project. I had never endeavored to do something in that scale of doing a project that's over 10 million at a given time. So the sum of them perhaps could add up to that particular amount, but doing one that costs that amount and everything on the balance. The struggle here was getting finances to push this project forward and getting finances to actually see a dream through. This dream of mine, many people they understood, but I think what troubled them was where you're going to get the resources from, where you're going to get the money from to actually get this through. Given my background in banking, if one starts a project and they don't have a completed cash flow projection, we seldom look at that plan as a plan that won't take shape or a plan that really won't materialize. But I think I banked a lot on the element of faith. Seeing this through and working on this house. Well, the house is occupied at the moment. The owners are quite happy. They're living in the house. But at this particular time, it wasn't a time when I really thought that there would be a chance of this project not happening, despite the finance factor. So selling some shares in my business to get this project through meant that I lost a portion of my business at a fraction of the price, because I was in a position where I really needed the funds to get the project moving, and I didn't have any excuses. There was no way I could have used excuses for my clients. They were in a stage where they really wanted to move in. So I think the word for today on a Throwback Thursday is faith is the substance of things not seen but hoped for. And that speaks to the dreams and the goals that we have. Sometimes the goals that we have and that we've set, if they don't scare us, and this is honestly an element that existed, scare you sometimes even when you're on the path or on the journey to achieving that, it should scare you. You should ask yourself, what on earth am I doing? Is this the way to go? And this is where I was 2 years ago, asking myself, is this a project perhaps that I want to sell because I've got financial constraints and perhaps limited in the ability to raise the capital that was necessary to complete the project? But nonetheless, avenues kind of revealed themselves on where one could access funds, and I used basically all the resources, exploited all of them, double exploited some of them, sold my vehicle. I was left with one vehicle. I then pursued and continued to sell shares in my business. I then pursued to ask friends and family, mostly family, listen, I'm in this project, I'm intending to do this, I need help with X, Y, and Z. Many friends basically did not have the capital that one required. If you're building a house and your capital requirement to basically complete the house is 700,000, you don't say to your friend, listen, I need help, can you borrow me 500,000? I think that is like a play joke that we make, that if our friends are unable to basically help us with projects, it means that they're not interested. Perhaps that's not so. It's actually quite a substantial amount of money that you can request from one individual. But seeing that I did have some aid, some form of help, any penny really did assist in completing this project. As I think of it, really, the message for today is set those goals very high. Set them so high that they scare you, they make you shiver in your boots, and you ask yourself time and again, what on earth am I doing? Am I going to reach that goal? Because here's what's true. When you do reach the goal, the satisfaction and the excitement, here's the joke, it's not going to be there. The excitement that you think you're going to have when you are done with the project or done reaching your goal, it's going to be more of a reflective stage in your life rather than an exciting element. And I've figured that the excitement is actually in the journey and not in the destination. So for today, bank on that faith. If anything, prevent putting negative thoughts. If you are down on that day, try avoid thinking about what could go wrong. On that note, do good when you can, and when you've learned better, do that, because that's the best advice for you today. On that note, happy Throwback Thursday. Rob T signing out. Have a lovely day. Cheers.